So you're in bed and you're like, you wake up
yeah.
and you're missing a lung and your whole body's cut open.
So funny. And in walks another med student the morning after the pneumonectomy surgery. A med student walks in, and he's not even a doctor. He's a med student. I'd met him before. And he says, have you noticed any changes since yesterday? I swear to God. I was like, well, yeah, besides the fact that my left lung is in a garbage can upstairs, I haven't noticed anything. I mean, I'm in tremendous pain. I can barely breathe. There's a tube that's draining 2 liters of blood per day out of my body, but otherwise it's the same.
Motherfucking deal. We are back with another episode of the Practical Advice for Weird Little Guys Being Cool. Too long of a title podcast, and I am in a sweet little shirt today. Got it off eBay for $17, and folks, I'm a surfer now, so that's kind of the vibe I've got going. And if you get in my comments and you tell me you hate this t-shirt, I just want you to know you don't know a goddamn thing. And that is all I have to say about that. And all I had to say about the next thing is, boys, girls, theys, thems, we have an absolutely unbelievable guest today. One of my best pals, one of the best dudes of all time, one of the funniest comedians I know. Give it up in the studio audience. I want to hear those hands. Give it up, everybody, for Terence Hartnett.
Hey. Hey. Sorry. Don't match the energy whatsoever. Hey, thanks for having me.
Every time I intro a guest, they go, you weren't like that right up until that point. So
no, I understand this. I understand what show business is.
We got to get in here.
I know the shows. You counted us in. I love that. You counted us in. It felt like we're on TV.
You know what I mean? There's a whole crowd here watching, cheering us on. We got the Conan O'Brien audience.
Good to be here. I decided to not cross my legs at any point because of the shorts.
You do have the stems out.
I get so, I kind of ran earlier and I was like, it's so hot out. I'm not doing it. Like, I get so pale above I'm not doing the short enough shorts. So pale above the knee that I'm not dealing with that. I'm going down, crossing down low.
Yeah, well, they'll never even see it anyways. I got
Good.
white pants on today, folks, because, again, I am changing my look.
They're stained, but you can't see it.
You better believe it. Not on the camera.
Not on the camera, you can't.
Terry, thank you so much for coming on the pod, brother. I feel like we have so much to talk about. I literally, this is going to be a bit of a special episode, folks, because boy, boy, are we not talking about t-shirts on this one.
We can skip that.
We can skip
How many buttons do you button? After I did my stand-up comedy special about the cancer that I went through, stage 3 cancer, I'm pouring my heart out. Great jokes. It's probably available very soon. Tucker comes up to me and goes, love the spesh. One note, would have popped the second button. I'm wearing a suit. I look amazing. Great jokes. How did this guy turn this stuff into such darkness, into such light? Killed for 49 straight minutes. Material Tucker could never dream of. And he has one note, would have popped the second button.
Second note, could have done a few more bits about dating.
I'm here.
But we'll tighten that up on the next
Didn't
one.
anybody say anything funny to you on the train? I don't understand what this material is about.
It's a little dark for me, but...
It left me wondering, which app does he prefer meeting chicks on? Which is the better app?
No, Terrence, I'm glad you brought that up, because if you don't know my guy Terry Hartnett here, you did beat cancer twice.
Thank you.
Can you tell, just give the audience the story there. Start from the beginning.
Yeah.
And
just
take
a
as
lowdown.
long as you need.
Thank you. Okay, cool.
No
I'll tell it. I have a quick version in the pocket whenever I need it. This will be the
means.
medium version for parties and it's slower social gatherings. Jump in whenever you have questions.
Yeah.
Almost 3 years ago now in the summer, my testicle was enlarged. I got a ultrasound of the testicle, and they told me it's got to come out. They didn't know if it was cancer, but they go, we're going to test it for cancer, and the only way to test it for cancer is to take it out of your body. And so 5 days after I got the scan, my testicle was out of my body.
And then were they going to put it back in, or they're like,
No, it's gone.
Okay.
They go.
I wasn't sure if that was a bad question.
Is that crazy? No. I mean, I thought about it, and I did try to save it. I tried to have him have a biopsy. I'm like, isn't a biopsy a thing where you take a piece and just see if it's cancer? You know what I mean? But they go, not for testicles, because they could pop it like a balloon, like a cancer-filled balloon. They were literally like, and then release the cancer into the bloodstream. That's what they were concerned about.
Oh, wait. So are testicles? Are they bags of air?
No, not at all. I don't know, but they're little organs, But whenever you puncture an organ, I guess
it does leak.
Stuff comes out of it and goes into the bloodstream. I guess.
What is a testicle? But
don't know. I know it. I really should know. I know it makes stuff, but I know also, Tuck, that if I looked it up, I wouldn't understand.
Right.
I'd spend 4 hours and I'd get right back to. So it is basically like a balloon. Like I would spend. Who cares? I'm not science smart. You know?
No, good point.
Or regular smart. Arguably.
Good point.
So I tried to save it. I tried to have them do like the they didn't. So they just take it out. 5 days later, take it out, and then I'm waiting. They test it. They go, there was cancer in the testicle, so we need to do a surgery on your lymph nodes to make sure it hasn't spread. Because in the testicle, it was rare and aggressive cancer was found.
Yeah. Now, before you go any further, and how are you feeling at that moment?
At that moment?
Yeah.
Super uncertain.
Right.
So at that moment, there's all kinds of possibilities. But I'm really good at wait and see. That's my big cancer advice is you just deal with the information that you have at the time that you have it.
Right.
There's no way to deal with this. So if it is cancer, what will I do? I don't know. I'll have more information then.
Were you confident? Like, I think I'm going to be okay.
Well, okay. So I am always a it's going to be okay kind of guy. Like, I'd probably be okay. I'm just going by past experience. Things usually turn out totally fine in my life. But I was just like, yeah, wait and see. But pretty quickly, within 2 weeks, they're like, there was definitely cancer, FYI. And then do a second surgery. Like a couple weeks later, they do a surgery on my belly where they open me up. Really invasive surgery, and they put your intestines on your chest, and then they scrape lymph nodes off the back of my body cavity, because if testicular cancer usually spreads to lymph nodes, belly, lungs, brain, in that order.
Right.
So they remove the testicle, and then they remove lymph nodes, and they go, okay, good. The lymph nodes are negative. There's no cancer in the lymph nodes. But that surgery was really intense. That put me up for a month, because they cut you like a fish. Do you want to do this?
Yeah, absolutely.
This is that part.
And they remove your organs and then cut them out?
They leave the organs in the chest, and then they cut. They take the organs out. Yeah, actually, they take the organs out. Tom Green did the same surgery. Tom Green, and he put it on YouTube, so you can look at it on YouTube. I watched it on YouTube.
Wow.
That was a really bad surgery that had me out for a month. Kind of couldn't walk, couldn't shit, couldn't piss. It felt like there was broken glass inside me. That was like a bad month.
Yeah.
And but then they said that there was no spread of the cancer, so they go, okay, you're all good. And I just recovered from that. And now I'm like, hey, I beat cancer. I beat testicular cancer. I've got one testicle. That's hilarious. That's fun. So then I started doing comedy about it. Things were really fun. I was in New York having a great time. That's when I met my fiance now. And so I had, comedy's going great. Life was going great. Living in New York, having a good time for about a year. In that time, this Austrian girl who I had met and got in a relationship with, she was like, hey, I want to move to Vienna. You want to move with me? And I was like, yeah, I'll move to Vienna with you. Sure. What the hell? Life is short.
Yeah.
I'm also working on this one-man show about the cancer. So I go, yeah, after I do Fringe, I will, I'll do that. Did Fringe. We're talking about moving to Vienna. My show went great. I'm like, yeah, I'll move to Vienna. I'll do Fringe again next year. So it's been a year since the cancer at this point. And I've never had chemo or anything,
Yeah.
So then we're about to move to Vienna. It's Christmas time. We're about to move to Vienna. We're literally had quit our jobs and we're going to move after Christmas.
Yeah.
And then I was like coughing, had pneumonia.
I remember because I ran into you at a bar and you had you were very hoarse.
My voice was gone.
And you're like, yeah, I got the flu or something.
Yeah.
I didn't think twice of it.
2-3 weeks, my voice was totally gone.
Yeah.
I remember I did a Christmas show at Caroline's, the 14th or something. And I was like, my voice is basically gone. It was like this. It was like you're pushing through, could barely hear, like an old man. But I just didn't want to cancel. I get 2 Caroline spots a year, 3 Caroline spots a year maximum. And I didn't want to cancel it, and it's $75, and so I did it, and I was up there hosting like this.
$75. It's so
$75.
what a business.
And a free meal. You get a steak.
Yeah, you can't pass it up.
I literally can't pass it up. So I did that, and I remember I just got a scan, like a cancer scan, like I normally get, because if you have cancer, they just scan you every once in a while.
And are you going in thinking like everything's fine?
No, I was actually going separately. Like I was like, I was going to a doctor like, hey, I have this cold in my chest, I'm coughing. So I got cough medicine, I got antibiotics, whatever. And separately from that, it's just time for a cancer checkup.
Right.
They do a CT scan of my chest.
Right.
Not because I'm coughing, just regular. It's been a year. Let's check up on you again.
Right.
And then, at this point, right before Christmas, they called and he goes, are you having trouble breathing at all? And I'm like, yeah. And I'm coughing and I lost my voice. And he goes, yeah, you know what it is you have a 5.5-inch tumor in your lung. Oh. Like a grapefruit size. If you're looking for like a good, huge, bigger than a softball, big.
Now take me through that moment. What are you feeling when he says that?
That one was insane. I mean, that's a nuclear bomb. That's
your
insane.
Heart just drops.
That's insane. And so obviously, if you can imagine, it's like you're in denial or you're like in shock. We were supposed to go to the Comedy Cellar to like watch a show. We had bought tickets, like a bunch of us, because my fiance was leaving New York, and she goes, I want to do all these things before I leave New York. This, and this.
Yeah.
We had eight of us were going to go to the Comedy Cellar, and like at 5:00 I got the call. And at first I was like, we could still go to the Comedy Cellar. It'll be fine. And she was like, I'm just going to tell you, I don't think we should go to the Comedy Cellar.
You're just the nicest guy of all time. We can still have fun, baby. I mean,
it doesn't have to ruin everyone's night.
Yeah.
Just because I have a grapefruit-sized tumor in my chest. I don't want to kill the vibe. Yeah. Guys, I don't want to make this weird, but
not to make it about me, but I might be dying.
Could be inoperable. They don't know how to. They told me it's rare and aggressive. It's grown at a rapidly alarming rate because it was like I had a checkup 6 months earlier. Nothing.
Yeah.
6 months go by. 6-inch tumor. So they go, this thing is growing an inch a month. Like you got to come in because it's growing so fast. Like if you wait for another month, it'll grow another inch. And it could stop your heart or stop you from breathing or choke you to death or something.
And are you panicking or are you going, okay, wait and see?
Yeah, that was the toughest wait and see. I was like, we will wait and see. I was like, but yeah, I was like, okay, I've got like real cancer, like holy shit, like real cancer. So I don't know what I was thinking. I mean, what's nice was we had a lot of stuff to do.
Right.
So I remember like it was very distracting. It was good because I had to get all my stuff. I had to move out of New York at early notice. I was supposed to move at the end of the month, but I ended up moving in the middle of December. I was like, we'll just move. So I had to move my whole apartment. I had to like leave New York. I had to put all my stuff in my van.
Right.
And drive up north. So there was a lot to do. So it was like the next morning we just did all that stuff. I did cry. I mean, like, so.
Yeah, that's kind of what I want to know about.
Okay, sorry. That night.
I'm like, get to it, Buster.
Yeah, that night, it was a lot of like, holy shit, like staring off in the distance, holy shit. And we were figuring out what we were going to do. And we were like, okay, we guess we can't move to Vienna right now. And we're kind of just going through what you do. Yeah, but the shock. So emotionally, sorry, I keep just pivoting to logistics the way a man would. Like, obviously, this is going to interrupt we can't move. Obviously, I got appointments. I can't do it. Can't make it. You know, it's so funny. Like, so interrupted the schedule.
Yeah. God forbid you have an emotion or
things
two.
are all. We're gonna have to move some things around. That's what, my man voice is like, yeah, this is gonna be okay. We're gonna make a few tweaks. But yeah, I cried. Make no mistake.
Yeah.
As Tucker would say, make no mistake. I absolutely bawled in this woman's arms.
And I'm sorry, I got to dive even further into that. Are you crying because you going, I'm probably gonna die, or are you going, I'm afraid to die? Like, what does that emotion feel like?
I did have some wait and see. So he told me there's still wait and see. So that does help me not totally lose it because there's still hope and there's still it could be just a aberration. because I had rare and aggressive cancer. I had really bad cancer in my testicle. Like, this is bad.
Yeah.
Like, this is the kind that, so it's rare, meaning they don't know how to treat it. And it's aggressive, meaning it grows very fast.
Right.
So it's not like, like certain kinds of lymphomas and melanomas and breast cancer, they've seen it 10,000 times. So they go, good, we'll give you this, this, and this, and we'll do this, this, and this.
Right.
Mine was like, they're going to have to make up some stuff, do some guesses if it's this cancer. So we were still waiting to see if it was rare aggressive cancer. It could have been normal lymphoma, I think was what they were hoping it was, like normal cancer that could be treated very easily. So I was hoping it was that, like just a big tumor that was a treatable tumor. So that's why I wasn't quite, I cried a little bit. We watched that thing, Harry and Meghan, a Netflix documentary. We were just already watching that, so we watched that. And Princess Diana made me cry. I saw photos of Princess Diana and how much she loved her kids, and it made me cry. I don't know. I mean, yeah. So, yeah.
It's so funny to be like on the brink of experiencing the thought of death and being like, let's put on Harry and Meghan.
Well, funny because you have to, but
you
like,
just keep living your life.
It's funny, these little things. It's like, because it's like, yeah. You just get the call and it's like, we eat dinner. You have to eat dinner, and then we're gonna watch Netflix. We have to watch Netflix. I mean, it's like, what am I gonna sit here and cry?
Right.
So it's so funny to be like, okay, we'll see what happens, and it's like, boom, and then you're scrolling around, scrolling around Netflix looking for which show should we watch, And obviously, make no mistake, I get to pick.
Right, of course.
I get to pick. It's always an argument, but tonight I get to pick.
She's like, babe, I don't want to watch Monday Night Football, but in this case, I will. Dum dum. So funny.
Dum dum. And we ended up watching the Royal Family thing, which I didn't like that much. So I was like, you know what? I'm watching what makes me feel comfortable. I watched When Harry Met Sally, which I so love because it's a good mixture of sweet and funny and comforting. I've seen it 100 times. Have you seen it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Sweet, funny. It's still emotional, but it's funny. So it's kind of like what I needed, I think. What I really cried was when I got the news. So I did a biopsy on that. They poked into my chest as soon as I got home. And the biopsy revealed that it was this aggressive rare cancer.
Yeah.
So this is going to grow very fast. So we need to get into treatment right away. Very scary. That's when I cried because I was like, because they had told me that this kind of cancer, if it spreads, is 50-50.
Yeah.
So basically, when they told me it was rare and aggressive cancer, 5 inches in my chest, near my heart, I was like, okay, 50-50. That's what they told me before. They didn't say 50-50 to me at the time of my diagnosis, but I knew that it was like 50-50.
Right, yeah.
So that's when I really cried. And you kind of like, you almost consider like letting your partner like I was almost like you can just go, don't go through this, like just go, kind of had that conversation. And she obviously didn't, and it's obviously just, that's what you think, but it kind of where it's like, just go, this is going to be a lot. You can go to Europe, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Why don't you just go to Europe and we'll figure it out later or not, But she obviously didn't, and she stayed in New York with me while I was getting treated. So then we had to get chemo, and also I needed to go to an expert because my doctors in Syracuse, New York, had no idea how to treat my cancer. So they go, we're going to find an expert for you because this is so rare. So I got Lance Armstrong's oncologist in Indiana. He kind of is the testicular cancer expert of the world. He cured metastatic testicular cancer.
Every time you tell me that, I'm like, what is that doctor doing living in Indiana?
I don't know. And I don't know.
Go to Paris.
I know that, yeah, right? Or New York at
Yeah,
least.
what
So
are
like
you
fucking,
doing?
yeah, I don't know.
Fucking sitting in
I don't
like
know
a
if
casino.
I don't know if he's Indiana or not. Yeah, but it's universities. I don't know what it is. Universities like, but I'm not, but it could be that, I think it's the other way around. Like sometimes if you treat testicular cancer really well, you should go to Indiana. That's where the experts are.
Right.
But I think the experts are there because of this guy just happened to live there and he didn't move.
Right.
He's like Chad Daniels, he's so good.
Yeah.
He can live where you want. Nate Bargatze. He's so good. It's like they'll come to me.
Right.
I can tour whenever I want. I don't know. That's what I wonder. But he's super old and he treated Lance Armstrong and he told me I met with him. He said you got to get chemo right away. I got chemo pretty quickly. and I did chemo for the next 4 months. I was hoping that it would shrink the tumor and I would be fine. But
Can you tell me a little bit about chemotherapy and what that's like?
yeah. Yes.
Like I don't think people even understand what is it a pill? Is it radiation? What is going on?
It's everything but radiation. So chemotherapy is a word that stands in for a lot of different drugs. They're all chemos, chemicals. It's not like it's like, where's that vial of chemotherapy? Here it is. We're going to inject you with this. I took 5 drugs. They're all chemotherapy drugs. I took a cocktail of 5 drugs. Took them all intravenously. They put them into my blood. They used a catheter, which is a tube. It went from my bicep to my heart, and they quote unquote dumped the chemicals into my superior vena cava, the big vein above your heart. The vein is like as big as a quarter.
Whoa.
So anyway, how it works is I would do inpatient chemotherapy. Some people are sitting in the chairs getting the drip. You've seen that,
Yeah.
They sit in comfortable chairs and they go to like an infusion center, they call it, and they sit there for a couple hours. It's not radiation. Radiation's another form of treatment. Some people get radiation, some people get chemotherapy, some people get both. I just got chemotherapy, no radiation, which means I go into the hospital, stay there for 3 days, and during the 3 days, they occasionally inject me, or they drop a bunch of terrible chemicals into my bloodstream. And the side effects take effect over the next few days, and you're going to have a bad week.
Right.
You're going to have a really bad week. So you're lying in the hospital. They're giving you lots of fluids, like good IV fluids. They're giving you good food. I mean, shitty food. My parents brought me good food. Lying there, they inject chemo into me. I don't really feel it until you get home. 3 days later, you get home. And that's when, they give you steroids and stuff too to make you feel better. And so I get home and you just feel super tired and sort of in pain. Although they told me it's not really pain. It's just kind of like full body discomfort. And you're tired beyond belief. It's like being hungover. It's like being super, super hungover where you don't have the energy to get off the couch and you have kind of like a headache and you feel dehydrated.
Right.
It's like that. And weed was the absolute best.
Yeah, this is where you developed a crippling addiction to marijuana gummies, which you're allowed to have.
I love marijuana. I do miss smoking marijuana. I'll never do it again because I have one lung. Spoiler alert. That'll come later.
What?
Yep. I have one lung. They took the whole thing out. Thought they could save half of it. Took the whole thing out. But yeah, marijuana was so good for the chemo. Like I describe it as it was the best cure I've ever experienced.
Yeah.
It's like how Advil cures your headache. It's like, oh, that's a pretty good cure. Like that really, I have no headache and it's pretty good. Weed was like, it covered the chemo on so many different fronts.
Yeah.
Like it was like mood boosted, body aches, down, like energy up. And also sleeping is good. Like it just fucking solved it.
God, shout out to pot.
Undefeated.
I love weed.
Marijuana absolutely crushes it. I am so proud of marijuana. I feel such a close relationship with marijuana. It was really there for me so nice. It's not like I'm like high and loving it. I did take like small amounts and it just made everything a little bit better. And it's so fun because everyone's on board with you being high. Like it's like I'm just sitting there, my parents having a glass of wine, I'm having an edible, I'm just like getting a little goofy.
Yeah.
And as you get past that, they don't give you treatments every week. Every 3 weeks you get treatments. So you get one terrible week where you're kind of like, I never really threw up. I threw up a couple times in the hospital actually. But I was just kind of like, you just feel terrible for a week.
Yeah.
Just like, don't talk to me. Like you're hungover for a whole week. Don't talk to me. I just want to chill, play video games. I had a friend who had stage 4 Hodgkin's lymphoma, and he gave me really good advice where he was like, just tell everybody in your life when you're having chemo, you might want to be alone.
Yeah.
You might lash out. It's just like you're irritable. You're not in a good spot. And you want to see people, just tough. Like I remember talking to a friend, my brother even, and being like, "I'm gonna lie down right now." I'm like, and this is I can't even speak with you anymore.
Yeah.
It's like it's been 25 minutes. I'm like, yeah, I'm just gonna go lie down.
Yeah.
People need to give you that space. So it was like that. So you have one bad week, and then you have one okay week where I'm getting up, walking outside a little bit, and then the third week you're basically fine, but your hair falls out.
Yeah.
So that's super depressing at first. Big clumps of hair in the shower, wake up clumps of hair on the pillow. You can just pull hairs out like that. The beard hair was so funny. I actually shaved at the beginning of cancer and then didn't have to shave again for like 6 months.
Wow.
Like it just doesn't grow. It just stops growing and then falls out.
And that's because it's attacking everything in your body, basically, even like the follicles.
They say it's just targeted at fast-growing cells. Hair is a fast-growing cell.
Okay.
So that's what it is. That's why it messes up some of you can get mouth sores too because your inside of your mouth cells, your cheek cells, are replacing faster than anything else in your body. It's kind of like hair too. Letting the hair drop out was depressing, and then you shave, and then it was such a good idea to shave. I recommend shaving as soon as possible, especially for guys. I think girls want to hold on to it or whatever, but letting the hair fall out is depressing, and then you shave, and it's just all over.
Yeah.
It's great. Even though it looks like you look terrible, I look like Voldemort. Like I was like really sick.
Damn, you did kind of look like Voldemort.
So, and I was often wearing hooded robes. Often wearing a hood. Often wearing a matching sweatsuit.
Thank God I didn't come visit. It would have been looked like Ron Weasley getting revenge or some shit.
Bordering on Draco, make no mistake. Yeah. Make no mistake, Ginger Draco. Make no mistake.
I am giving Slytherin.
Truly, I look terrible. Everyone I just saw in New York for the first time was like, "You look great." And I'm like, "Yeah, thanks." It's all relative to like looking like a big sick baby. Shuffling around so skinny, you can see bones and stuff.
Just off 95 milligrams of hard edible.
Unreal. That's the other thing too. Chemo takes away your ability to eat almost. Not like you don't feel nauseous, but you do feel disgusted by food.
Right.
Like it looks like you're ever really sick and then someone's playing with, or really full, or you're hungover and food disgusts you. It's like that all day.
Yeah.
It's like people squishing around in their food, eating it. You're like, ugh, I'm not gonna put any of that in my body. It's so gross. Then you get high and you're like, let's go.
Yeah.
So that's one other. Did you see how many different uses for marijuana for chemo?
Yeah.
It's like, it is lock and key. It's like a gift from the gods. You saw me when I came to New York a couple times, all chemoed out, right?
Yeah.
That was fun too. People
and
didn't
I gotta
recognize
be
me.
honest, Terry, at the time I went, holy shit, I think this guy might die.
Yeah.
I mean, to be quite honest.
People were so nice to me.
Deep down, I was terrified. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
What are people saying? What's your experience with it? I know mine.
You know, I think a lot of people would ask me, you know, how's it going with him? And I think I would kind of be like, I can't even lie to y'all. I'm a little worried. I think previous to that, it was always kind of like a feeling of, you know, I'm like a relatively optimistic guy, and I was always like, everything's gonna be all right.
Yeah.
And then that was when I was like, maybe it won't be.
For real. That was what it was at the home front too. That's we were all like, you know, we got to be ready for anything. That's what's crazy is like literally seriously confronting my own death.
Yeah.
Because they didn't even know that first. It was for 2-3 months. They go, we're just trying stuff. We'll see if it works.
Yeah.
So literally, like, it could be like, this stuff is making me sick and not even curing me.
Did you ever experience anything like this where people in your life that you thought maybe would reach out to you didn't, and maybe it was because they didn't know what to say?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Did that upset you, or did you kind of understand, or maybe like?
No, I don't need to hear. I don't like.
Say, what can someone say to you?
Really? I really don't need to hear from anybody. I mean, it's nice to hear from a lot of people, but it's like, just like anything vaguely nice is nice. You know what I mean? Like, I don't need anything from anybody. I mean, I need things from my immediate circle.
Yeah.
Like they took care of me, and that's what I needed. But that's like 3 people's jobs, 4 maybe. But then for my friends, just like a message or people mailed stuff. But like, only 1 or 2 people, I was like, it's kind of weird I haven't heard anything from them. But you hear from almost everybody. Right. And I heard from everybody eventually. So I heard from literally everybody. I wrote down the other day, I was like, not only did I hear from every ex-girlfriend, I heard from everybody I've ever kissed. I heard from like people came out of the woodwork like, hey, we hooked up once. I hope you're okay.
Yeah.
Like it's like people I just tangentially met through stuff.
My
being so
horny
nice.
ass would have been like, hey, get one last. I'm like, babe, how worried are you? Come on down. So here's my room. I'm in a robe already.
I know. I mean, if you're single, it could have been great. But
Right, you got a fiance.
but also, I mean, you are just a sexless worm. You're a sexless, hairless worm.
God, I can barely get my dick hard now, let
yeah.
alone full of chemotherapy.
yeah.
I'm like, Doc, put a couple Viagras in
Like,
that
you don't-
IV. I got a lady coming over later. Sorry.
I got a big date. It could be good.
Sorry, I'm being immature.
No, I mean, it's of course you make it a sex joke. Well, so if you hear from people who didn't or they don't know, totally understand not knowing what to say. I don't know what to say when people say, "How are you?" You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm like, good. So I'm okay, but it's like I'm not even used to voicing that negativity that is required. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
voicing any negativity about things is not my strong suit. And so I was like kind of depressed and like had a bleak outlook occasionally. So it was like, you know, sometimes it was like, how are you? It's like, fucking, how the fuck are you? You know,
Yeah.
so that, I mean, sometimes how are you is the wrong thing to say, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But I think vague positivity with no need for a response is great. So hope you're doing well. Do that instead of how are you?
Right.
How are you requires me to write a small essay. Or how are things going?
Yeah.
It's like I posted on Instagram how things are going. I've got no updates. Otherwise, I'd give you an update. You know what I mean? So I think, yeah. I think I guess I came around to there is fucking wrong things to say.
Well, yeah, but you know.
Yeah. This is funny. Someone texted me before I posted about it, because I waited a little while to post about it. Steve Malden texted me, well, how about you, man? What's new?
Yeah, that's a classic.
The funniest text to get. It's like, but that was to his, and he did not know. I didn't post about it yet, but it is so funny to get a what's new.
You're
What's
like,
new?
How long do you have?
A lot. A lot is new, Steve.
Keep talking. I gotta.
A lot of things have changed. Things are up in the air, Steve. You know, it's but hearing from people was nice, and often people would just go, "What's your address?" And then they're gonna send you a box full of edibles and candy and books. And I got so much mail, which is so sweet. It's nice to get mail. That really helps. But if you can't do mail, my other advice is, this is kind of an advice podcast. Here we go.
Yeah, no,
my
this
other
is literally
advice.
perfect. My
My other advice, if you don't want to don't go to the post office. That's all thoughtful and nice, handwritten letters. That's great, thoughtful, nice, whatever. But if we're not close and you just want to help out without doing that stuff, DoorDash gift card. Buy, what's your email? DoorDash gift card. Boop.
Wow, that's
50,
good.
25. People did that. I built up a couple hundo, and I'm like, in the hospital, doot, no hospital food for me. That is the move.
Okay, that is fire.
That's a good one, right?
Yeah, that is great.
Okay, I'll just repeat it. Yeah, DoorDash gift card, okay?
And I'm sure at this point,
anything.
the listeners are probably thinking, Tucker, what did you do to help Terence? And the answer to that is, I said, Terence, have you tried meditating? No DoorDash gift card from this guy. I said, hey brother, how about you try breathing a little?
That is true. That is true. That is true.
Sorry.
You said that. I don't think that's as big of a faux pas. I like playing it up. I did a bit about it briefly.
Not my finest moment.
But yeah, I mean, it's just fun to go. My friend told me to meditate. Fuck you. It got a huge laugh. I'm literally bald from chemo going, my friend told me to fucking meditate. The jokes hit so much harder when you're bald, you doing cancer jokes. It's like, it's
Right.
the best.
Not my finest.
It's the best. What were you thinking? No. Because all we talk, the story is now old, and it's all we just talk about how funny it is that you recommended that, because that is so you to do.
It is so
How did you feel? And do you still meditate? How do you feel about meditation?
I still meditate twice a day, every day. You know, I was trying not to mention it earlier, but when you're like, when you're like, let's wait and see, it's like that really is kind of like basically a basic core of meditation. Is just like, that's a problem for the future. We're right here. We'll figure that out when we get there. You know,
that's great.
Mindfulness, being present and being like, yeah, I can't control anything but exactly this breath I have right now. So until I don't have that breath, I'm going to control that.
That is great.
But obviously, that's very easy to say when you're not dying.
I did try it. No, I've always had trouble with it. I didn't have trouble with it because I was dying. I have always had trouble with it with meditation. I just don't feel like it's productive.
Yeah.
But I do, obviously, 20 hours of my day I do unproductive things, basically.
Right.
So I should just meditate. It would be every time it's even mentioned, my shoulders lower, my breath calms. Even when someone talks about it, I go, oh yeah, everything's fine. It's so good.
Well, I think, and I find it's not a thing you notice instantly. It's something if you do for a long time, you just wake up one day and you're like, oh, I'm much more at ease in my own body, et cetera, et cetera. But anyways.
Make no mistake. What was it like on your end to give me that advice, though? Do you remember?
Well, I think, in my head, I'm always like, it's very hard to give someone advice in that scenario and be like, hey, not that you're even looking for advice. Like, I don't know how to say like, hey, I hope you're well. It's like in my head, I'm like, I was legitimately thinking like, the only thing I know how to help with a situation like this is that.
Yeah.
At the time, I don't think I recognized how crazy that was to say because I'm not there going through it with you.
Yeah.
So to me, I'm just like in my room, like, oh, maybe he could use meditating. Meanwhile,
no,
you're
but
like
I did try
vomiting and
meditating, and do you know what I used as my mantra? DoorDash gift card. DoorDash gift card. DoorDash.
Fuck.
DoorDash.com. Let me feed you. Can I be fed physically? I'm sick.
Right.
Hospital food is bad. DoorDash gift card.
And I said, no, you're not getting
DoorDash gift card.
Okay, but so anyways, so where were we before I rudely interrupted with it?
So funny.
So you were talking about getting gifts.
Yeah, people sent books and edibles. I didn't pay for an edible the whole time.
Beautiful.
And I had great insurance. I was on Medicaid.
Yeah.
The best.
Yeah.
The best. Didn't pay a dime.
And at what point are we at here? You're still going through chemotherapy?
So yeah, this is a little over a year ago. 4 months of chemotherapy. The tumor is shrinking. This is good news. That was the best news I had gotten since the bad news.
Yeah.
Tumor shrunk by a good inch or two. I'm like, whoa. My voice is not coming back, but I occasionally, when I'm in the hospital with the chemo flowing, my voice would come back for like a second.
Right.
It'd be like, yeah, I feel pretty good actually. Whoa, what was that? Like it was like,
whoa.
This ring to my voice, this chocolatey tones.
Yeah, beautiful.
All of it was gone. I was up here.
Yeah.
Sounded like Trump, like up here. Breathy, shitty, no ups and downs, no notes, monotonous. You see? Because the tumor was pressing on a nerve that controlled half my vocal cords, paralyzing half of them. So that's what was happening there. So the tumor's shrinking, and they go, good news, it's shrinking enough, we can probably do surgery. They scheduled the surgery 4 months into the treatment, so this is like April. I had to go to Indiana to get the surgery. That's where the experts are. I had to go to Indiana again.
Yeah.
And then they told me also that they couldn't save my lung. They wanted to do half the lung. The tumor's only in the top half, but they're going to take the whole left lung. Full pneumonectomy, it's called. They remove your whole left lung.
And what are you thinking when they say that?
I was devastated.
Yeah.
I was devastated. I was hoping the whole time that I have a 3/4 lung capacity, and now I realize I'm going to have one lung. And I was thinking, I love running. I love physical activity. I love getting tired. I ran marathons. I run every day. It helps with my mental. I would run if it was bad for me. I just love to run.
I'm a runner as well. It is so important.
And I like hiking, and I like climbing stairs unassisted. I have all these hobbies, and I was really like, I'm fucked. I can't. I was literally like, my favorite thing in the world is to smoking a joint, going for a run, singing a song.
And having 2 balls.
Doing comedy. The balls is fine. Honestly, the ball is totally fine. That's what's so great was of the injuries, having 1 ball, 0 effect. It's just funny.
Right. Yeah.
Net positive. It's just so funny to have 1 ball. I've got 1 ball. People go, the ball's in this guy. I go, ball. Actually. So just stuff like that in my day-to-day as a comedian. Just
beautiful. Just
lovely. They did an hour of comedy. So I did an hour of comedy before I got the cancer. Before the cancer came back.
Right. Yeah.
So I did an hour of comedy. Then the cancer came back, and then I signed up to do Fringe again. So all spring, I'm like, I gotta do Fringe in August.
Yeah.
And they're giving me chemo. I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to do Fringe,
Yeah.
So it's the tumor shrinking. That's good news. They're gonna take out my whole left lung. Surgery is really dangerous because, most surgeries, the things you're working on are not moving, but the lungs and the heart can't be stopped for surgery.
Right.
Like for the stomach, you can not eat, and then they can, the stomach won't be doing much. Liver, it just sits there. The heart and the lung are moving targets. So they said that there's a 10% chance of a serious complication of the surgery, like where you just bleed out and die. So that was really scary. That day in Indiana was super scary. It was like my 33rd birthday. 90% chance I'll survive, 10% chance I'll die. I gave my fiance, the girlfriend at the time, I gave her like all my passwords and like the pin to my iPhone.
Yeah.
In case I died.
Yeah.
And then I woke up. Everything went great.
And you're like, let me change that phone password. Kidding.
But boundaries are important. I agree. We're not there. I mean, I don't think anybody should look at anybody's.
Right.
I agree.
Amen.
Now we're back to just a brief interlude of dating advice. Don't go through your man's phone.
This will be can we get to the pussy stuff?
This is the clip. This is the clip. The whole cancer episode. And going through your phone is just unfair. Shout out.
Damn, finally.
Shout out, guys. Change the passcode every day. Even if you think she doesn't know it, she knows it. Guys, little heads up. If you're worried about dying and give your girl your phone passcode, change your shit up. Woo.
Now, I want to say, I feel like we're getting to a point where there's a little bit of hope at the end of the rainbow here.
Yeah.
But what are you thinking in those moments when you're like, when death is like, seems so real?
For real, yeah. So it was like, I tried to maintain that mantra of wait and see, get more information later. We'll deal with that then. I became very present,
Yeah.
Let's deal with it. Let's deal with this week, today, tomorrow. Let's deal with this stuff. But you can't help but start making plans or being like, like you're thinking about, so what does it look like if they give me a year? What does it look like if they give me 5 years? You know what I mean? What if they give me one of these numbers? What do I do then? You know what I mean? Do I, all this, do I get married? Do I move? Should I hold off on having children? Like all these really, really, really intense decisions. And it really brings things into light, I was lucky that I was like, I have a passion. I love my life. I really love it. I just want to get back to it if I can. I was really happy before. I'd like to be really happy again. If this goes away, I'll just be really happy again. But I was being like, what do I do? What's the death plan? What's the end of life plan?
Right.
And I decided two things. I was like, well, I love performing. Okay, sorry. I love my family. I love my family and my partner very, very much. And those things are very important to me. And to a lesser extent,
yes.
To a slightly lesser extent, I love killing. I love being up there. Killing on stage. And that is the proper order. And that is what I decided. That is what I told everybody. And that is what I believe. Is that although killing is very important and crushing feels great, and the creative act and writing material and having your ideas be validated, having your selfhood be validated, having your vocabulary, your intelligence, your thoughts, your creativity be validated.
Yes.
That's all really great. And I would love to do that all the time with a loving family and a loving partner at my side. That love is nothing if not shared. And I do mean that. I do want both of those things. It's just twofold. It's just it's like work life. I wanted to have I want to have it all. That's what I want. But it's nice because I just want those two things. I don't need to be famous. I don't need to be successful monetarily even. You know what I mean? I just like doing comedy, and I want to be with these people, and I want to love them, and I do want to have a family.
Yeah.
So those things, I guess 3 things then. So like my family and partner as they exist, my future family, and the thrill of doing stand-up comedy. Not even just the thrill, the validation, the how rewarding it is. It's just been the best thing that I've done with my life, that my life's work as a comedian, I think. And so I wanted to do both those things, and it clarified those things. So my 1 and 5 year plans both included both those things, and that's really it.
Yeah.
You know. So that's when I decided that I decided at that point that I could move to Europe and not live in New York and like necessarily have the perfect stand-up comedy career. Like I could live in Vienna and do comedy and be able to do have everything that I wanted. So that's what the death thing. It was that. It was like a series of short and long-term and medium-term plans.
Right.
And that's what I broke it down to. I was like, that's as far as I'm going to think. I tried not to go, woe is me. I did feel ready to die, you know, like I don't know if you feel that. Some people are really afraid of death. I definitely felt ready to die. Like it was like I'm like, well, I'll be gone, you know, like experientially, you know, it's just like, it was a shame. I think it would be a shame to not be able to experience all the other life stuff. And I did like wish I had done more in my personal and professional life.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I prepared to die.
Yeah.
I definitely prepared to die. You'd be crazy not to. I got into therapy for the first time. So I talked to a 28-year-old about dying. Yeah, it's like a grad student. Thanks. I asked specifically for like, I want a therapist who knows about cancer. Like I want a therapist who knows what's going on, and they gave me a 28-year-old grad student. But
he's like, have you tried meditating?
Yeah, dude. Like, just someone who they haven't even considered their own mortality. They weren't really nice, and therapy is nice no matter what. I think it's just nice to talk to somebody who has to listen.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So it's nice you kind of just talk stuff out. Like I think I used her like playing tennis off of a wall. You know what I mean? Like I really could have just recorded those things I said. I mean, she asked a couple good questions and whatever, but I saw she was supposed to be an oncological psychologist. So cancer and psychology together. I think she's doing that. She's learning, getting better.
Right.
She learned on me.
Right, yeah.
Don't respect that very much, but I guess you all already learned somewhere.
I mean, the American healthcare system is very flawed.
You get what you pay for, folks. You get what you pay for. Although, for me, I was like, shout out to government healthcare, which took care of everything.
Right.
So I had this weird relationship with it, where it's like, well, I feel like everyone should have it.
Yeah.
It's like, that's not even that weird, I guess. I feel like I know everyone should have it.
Right. God forbid.
It shouldn't ruin your life. Even like my mom, if she got it with a good insurance, it's like, it would still have cost her like 20 or 30 grand to get what I got.
Right.
She goes, I have to pay 15% of whatever I get. And I think I got $500,000 in me here.
Right.
Sorry, government. Thanks, taxpayers.
Crazy. That's what it costs to be alive. 500 grand.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
That's the number, folks.
Yeah. And so speaking of like gratitude, like I'm so grateful that all these things, that medicine is so advanced that they were able to save me. Like totally could have, if it was the 80s, I'm dead.
Yeah.
Like it's like pretty new stuff.
Man, that is wild. So you're starting to talk again. You're getting your voice back.
Not really, no. And I thought that it's pretty raspy, and I thought that the surgery would remove the tumor and therefore remove the pressure on the nerve that was paralyzing my lymph nodes, but it didn't actually. It was like they're kind of like disappointed. And I had to tell them before the surgery, I was like, hey, I don't know if this helps, but I am a comedian. Like I do want to make money off my voice. So whatever you can do to save the voice, because they were like, we could end up severing that nerve and leaving your voice like this forever. Straight up RFK voice.
I was about to say, run for president, brother. Get a worm in that brain.
RFK. I had not thought about that. It was exactly the RFK voice. You know what I mean? I could be the RFK who was all about the healthcare system.
Could have been the best thing that ever happened to you.
Yeah,
I could have been the antithesis.
Yeah. I'd like, pharmaceuticals are actually the shit.
We love Fauci.
These companies deserve billions of dollars, and they can lie if they want to. And that's why I'm running for president. Take the vaccine, shove it all in there. Thanks, Purdue. Thank you, Pfizer. Shout out Johnson & Johnson while we're at it.
So
Moderna.
You come out of that surgery and you're missing a whole lung.
Yeah.
Show the lung scar.
Okay.
Wow. I mean, that is absolutely so gnarly, bro. That is crazy. Gnarly. I'm a surfer now.
Can you see there? The little guy there is where they had a tube coming out of me just to drain all the blood.
Oh, man.
And fluid. It looked red as blood. It was fluid, I guess, because the body fills the cavity with fluid.
Yeah.
They didn't put anything in there, like a squeaky toy. Okay.
Fire.
Having fun, you know.
Fire.
I'm a comedian. Bluetooth speaker. Boop, boop. Hello.
That'd be sick as hell.
That'd be sweet. Pump some
That'd
Coldplay.
make it all worth it, honestly.
Boop, boop. Look at the stars.
Little AirPod charger.
Give me something. Wi-Fi hotspot. Hello, folks. Tinder. Bumble. Who's on Hinge? Are you guys dating? Okay. Are you guys dying? Okay. Hello.
So you're in bed and you're like, you wake up
yeah.
and you're missing a lung and your whole body's cut open.
So funny. And in walks another med student the morning after. Morning after the pneumonectomy surgery, a med student walks in, and he's not even a doctor. He's a med student. I'd met him before. And he says, have you noticed any changes since yesterday? I swear to God. I was like, well, yeah, besides the fact that my left lung is in a garbage can upstairs, I haven't noticed anything. I mean, I'm in tremendous pain. I can barely breathe. There's a tube that's draining 2 liters of blood per day out of my body, but otherwise it's the same. It's like so funny to ask that question. Unbelievable. We did both laugh. We both laughed. It was a good time. But yeah, they were draining all that stuff out of me. So that hospital was like 10 days in the hospital. That was the longest stay I had. Chemo is usually 3, 4, 5 days. That was I think it was almost 2 weeks in the hospital. I mean, because of course it's like they cut your chest open, you know?
Yeah.
Like everything was all scrambled in there. I was in crazy pain. And weird pain you never had, like pain inside, you know?
Yeah.
You're used to getting hit on the outside and you get pain, but you have a pain that's like in the middle of your chest.
Yeah.
So weird. So weird. But everything had gone well. They were pretty pumped on the surgery.
Yeah.
They were good surgeons. And they did a great job. Thank you very much. They were thrilled about my health. Like when they looked at me, they're like, we've been operating on fat Midwestern people. I mean, that was the look.
Oh yeah, out in Indiana.
They're like, you are easy. You're like the guy in the textbook. Like this is like perfect for us. So I think I was what they call a good candidate for surgery, like a young person, a young thin person. They're like, wow, thank you. I was the youngest guy in that whole fucking hospital. It was like they always put me in the cancer ward, you know. So you go for a walk. You're supposed to go for 1 walk a day, and the only thing you can look at while you're walking is other cancer patients. How about that? How about that little slice of life? You look at other people going. Bald people, crying people. That's my walk. This is my daily walk.
Oh my God.
Can't go outside. Didn't go outside for 2 weeks. Didn't taste fresh air for 2 weeks. Hospital food, little warm carton of chocolate milk, you know? Potatoes, like hard. I mean, I got a lot of good delivery food because I did receive a lot of DoorDash gift cards. So I was able to order food
promo
out.
code right here.
DoorDash. Thank you, DoorDash. So yeah, that was a tough hospital. But then they were like, we think we got it all. So it's kind of like, you know, glass is getting pretty half full at that point. And I'm like, okay, well, if I recover from this, then I can still do Fringe. It's in 3 months, so I think I'm good. But they're like, but we have to do more chemo to just kind of make sure we got everything. We thought we got everything, but it could be microscopic stuff. The microscopic cancer got me in trouble in the first place because from the testicle, it did open up, and in my bloodstream there was some cancer, and it landed in my lung. And it lay dormant for a year and then blew up to a grapefruit. So they were like, just to avoid that kind of thing, we will do more chemo. So I did 2 more rounds of chemo then. So then I went back to New York again in the middle of that. So 2 different times in New York, I was stalking around this city like fucking bald and doing weird jokes about having 1 lung. And anyway, so I had to do more chemo, but that was like fun chemo. Because I wasn't afraid of dying anymore.
Yeah, it's victorious.
It was like a victory. It was like, yeah, I'll do 1 more round. I'll watch some movies, get high. Like, I can do this. Video games. Shout out Zelda. Shout out Nintendo Switch. Shout out The Sopranos. Love The Sopranos. Shout out Stephen King's The Dark Tower series. Listen to all of that. 7 500-page books on Audible. Go to sleep. Wake up. All of that. So good. Shout out. Entertainment. slaps, as you would say, Tuck.
Yes, sir.
When you're late, this is like, I'm like, this is what TV was invented for. Television is medicinal, just like marijuana and television. I was like, how did they get through cancer before marijuana and television?
Right,
Like, God bless. Shout out. Shout all the way out. So then I recovered from that, still bald, and I did my second Fringe. I did another show about what had just happened to me, and that was so awesome. Being bald in a suit, being like, yeah, this is from chemo. I just had chemo. Here's a story. It was so fun.
Yeah, I mean, people must have been like, I've never seen anything like this.
It was the shit. I received zero recognition from critics or any awards or anything, but I think the show was amazing. It was such a great experience. Edinburgh Fringe is the absolute best. I recommend doing it. If you're a comedian, you should just go visit for a week. If you're a person, you should go watch it for a weekend. It's in Scotland and Edinburgh. Some of the coolest comedy in the world, the coolest performances in the world are happening in Edinburgh. 3,000 shows. Had the best time. And then got back from that, recovered, getting scans, and then we're kind of on the road to recovery. I'm just kind of getting scans, getting checked out, trying to feel better. And then that was a year ago right now.
So that was 1 year ago.
Yeah.
I mean, good Lord.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so how do you feel now? I mean, I imagine you just must have so much gratitude for life.
You know, that's the funny, I don't. It's like I don't. I'm so back, as you can see. Like, it's like I didn't think I was ever gonna be this back. You know what I mean? I'm running. Right. I'm going upstairs. I feel great having one lung. So I'm running. Like, I've ran 10 miles.
That is so wild.
I'm running far. I just run slow, but I can run fucking far. I'm gonna run a half marathon in 2 weeks.
Oh, let's absolutely
God willing.
go.
If it's not,
that makes me want to cry.
If it's not 95 degrees, I'm gonna run a half marathon. Shout out. So all that to say, I'm so back that I just totally forget to be grateful. I'm just reverting back to the anxieties I had before.
Right, of course.
Like, it's like I really am trying to remember, because I have such a good reason to be grateful and happy, but it's just like no one respects my comedy. Please book me. It's all back to
it
that.
Just never ends.
Those just resurfaced. Hello. My best friends don't think I'm funny. We share that one. We both have that one.
I am familiar with that feeling.
Well, my best friends think I'm a hack and that I'll never make it. And do the people who love me even really believe in me?
It's so funny.
Or are they just being nice? Yeah. Is this my make-a-wish? Are they just letting me do comedy because it's fun? Like, let him play with that toy before he dies. You know what I mean? Like, I'm back to all that. I guess I should be. I'm going to try to tap into the fact that it could come back, but they gave me a less than 5% chance of any recurrence of the cancer.
Do you think about that at all, or is that just kind of behind you?
No, it's like, but I should. You know what I mean? It's
Right,
so funny.
right.
Like, I've absolutely learned nothing. I'm trying to hold on to the lessons as they slip away.
Right.
Like, I literally am trying to put myself back there. Like, you know, and like, yeah, like people in my life are reminding me, like, you know, a year ago we were all so worried that, and I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah. Literally, they're reminding me. They're like, you know, a year ago a year ago that. Like, my family, they just saw me for a wedding, and the last wedding they saw me at, I had just recovered from this stuff, and I was limping around, bald, and everyone's like, you look great. All my friends, everyone's so sweet. Coming back to Chicago, coming back to New York, everyone's like, oh, wow, I'm so glad you're alive. And I'm like, oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, I totally forgot.
I mean, I suppose that's better. It's better to just, like, be a normal person again instead of, like, sitting in the trauma of what you just went through for the rest of your fucking life.
Yeah, but I'm trying to find a balance, because I definitely think that I should change.
Right.
I should change. I think I am. It's just hard to see it, maybe. You know, it's, like, slow. But I'm trying to make just different decisions based on the fact that, like, life might not be very long. Here's I'm trying to work on this new theory. Life is medium. Everyone's saying either life is long or life is short. No, you can't act like either of those things are true. If you act like life is long, you'll put off stuff, and it's like you'll do a thing for 5 years that you hate. Don't do that. But life is not short either. You know what I mean? Like, you should plan for some future.
Right.
Don't get wasted and hook up with people and make mistakes and be a jerk. Like, tomorrow is not coming. Tomorrow is coming. You know what I mean? Like, let's plan out for like 3 or 4 years here. That's my new thing, is like, try to at least get into, you know, just like set yourself up for some success the next couple of years. Like, you know what I mean? You might be around for a while, but mixing that with, but also nothing is guaranteed. So with less than 5%, I feel like I'm down, knock on wood, I feel like I'm down to like a normal person's chances of dying.
Right.
because life is dangerous. People die all the time. And like everyone our age is now saying like, oh, it's crazy. Everyone's getting cancer. I'm like, yeah, everyone's aging.
Yeah.
It's not like there's nothing in the water. It's just like we are getting older and life ends.
Yeah.
Life will end for some of us really soon. Life will end for others later, but life will end for all of us in the foreseeable future.
Yeah.
Like we all got like, how many presidents do we got left? 8 in our lifetime?
Right.
8 or 10 presidents.
That's so true.
8 or
That's
10.
why you got to vote, folks.
You got to vote.
Moral of the story, get out there.
It's so
and vote.
important. And think about how many congressmen. How many congressmen? Do you know your local congressman? Do you know how old they are?
I mean, that's really incredible. Do you, do you kind of think about the past now and you go, I'm glad I went through that? Or are you like,
Yes.
There's got to be some amount of gratitude for such a insane experience.
I really feel so lucky because it's gone and I got to go through it. It's like the way you look at any thing that shaped you with gratitude. I'm trying to form that muscle now because now that I'm not scared of it, I'm kind of in this in between where I'm like, okay, trying to put it behind me. And it's difficult because I keep doing stand-up comedy about it. Shout out Grove 34 on July 13th.
Plug the date right here, baby.
And Caveat on July 27th. Here in New York City,
Yes.
I'm doing 2 amazing one-man shows about my experience with cancer, having one lung, running again, all of that stuff. I moved to Vienna, Austria. Some of that stuff's in there too. My new life is very interesting. I always have news for people. Whenever I see them, I go, I live in Austria now. Everyone's like, whoa, well, I thought you had cancer. I'm like, I did, but new stuff is happening.
Yeah.
But yeah, I am grateful for the experience. Obvious, the way anyone's grateful. Yeah, we should all be grateful for these experiences that help to shape you. It's so cool to have this kind of story to tell. I'm kind of glad I got to do chemo before I died. I'm kind of glad I got to have cancer before I died. These experiences are unique and interesting. And guess what? You'll all get it too. I got a sneak peek at our future. We're all getting cancer if we're lucky.
You told me that once, and I've never forgotten it.
Really? That we're all gonna get
You're
cancer?
like pretty much everyone you know is either going to get cancer or die before they do.
Yeah. On a long enough timeline, it's like you're gonna get cancer. If you're lucky, you'll get cancer.
Yeah.
Maybe you'll be 100 and get cancer, but you're gonna get it, or you're gonna die in some accident or from heart disease.
Right. Yeah.
But you will die.
you will die.
But that's just a nice thing to remember that you will die. Kind of. You know what I mean? It's just like a good thing to think about.
It's sort of like the most beautiful part of life is that it doesn't last forever, and you got to do what you can while you're here.
I know. I know. Do you think if you could live for 100 years guaranteed or 1,000 years guaranteed, which would you do?
Oh man, 100 years.
100 years. Everyone says 100. Isn't that funny?
1,000 is way too long.
1,000 is way too long. But everyone likes life, right? But they don't want too much.
Yeah, I don't want to be horny that long. I would like to. I'm so over my.
I didn't mention your penis falls off at 120.
Okay, good. Give me 1,000.
And then
I'll take 125, but cut my dick off at 50.
You'd have the weirdest pod at age 700.
How to have a good life with no cock and balls.
Remember to tuck in behind the belt. To do the French tuck, show them that you have a belt.
Still talking about t-shirts with no dick in me.
Don't be afraid to show some sock.
Can I ask a little bit about the role of love and having a partner in this journey, and not kind of going through it alone? And that includes your family, your friends. Just like what was the impact of that?
Absolutely. You find out exactly who you really need. It's like in comedy, we have 100 acquaintances, 1,000 acquaintances, people who are like follow you on Instagram and they know what's going on with your life. I met all those people. They're nice people, whatever, but they're not gonna do anything for you. I mean, they'll send you a package or send you a nice text, whatever. But you need like 5 or 6 good people around you who you can really depend on. You really need it.
Yeah.
My family is amazing, and they were so nice to me, and they know what I needed, and they gave it to me. And my fiance is so amazing. She knew what she needed to give to me, and she gave to me. But there is also that thing of like, you don't have to make her into the cancer girlfriend trope. Right. Is that she's your rock, she's your everything. You couldn't have gotten through it without her. I mean, I definitely couldn't have, but it's like you have to also be careful putting that on these people who are living their life too. And by the way, they're going through something too.
Right. Sure.
It's not like they're fine. Their son, boyfriend, brother has cancer, and it's tough for them.
Right.
So it's like everyone's got to figure out how much slack they need. It's like we all went through it together in a weird way. But yeah, the role of love is incredibly important. When I'm thinking about charities to look into for the future, and I'm leaning away from like cancer research charities and more towards sort of systems that give people what they need besides medicine.
Yeah.
Food, rides, money, places to be, people to talk to,
DoorDash
community.
gift cards.
Once again, DoorDash, or just Venmo them $100. You know what I mean? But the gift card's nice because you have to spend it on food. But it's like, these like Not Done Yet is this amazing charity that helps people, young adults with cancer, with these things. If they need money, if they need food, if they need a community, if they want to do something, it helps them with those extracurricular things. Because even if insurance covers everything and your cancer treatment is free, the other stuff is where your community, your loved ones step in and help you.
Right.
Like, this guy needs a place to rest and food and video games and weed.
Yeah.
And, like some companionship and whatever. But yeah, like, I hope I have the chance to help out the people who love me as much as they helped me out. Like, it was amazing. It was great.
I mean, that absolutely rips.
Yeah.
Can I ask, what is like maybe I know, and this is such a loaded question, but what's the biggest thing you've learned from all this? What's like the most important life lesson you've learned from being faced with near death? Yeah.
You only live once, YOLO.
Yeah.
But I mean, I thought a lot about like my life, and like I'm really glad I liked my life. So if I didn't like my life, I would be going through this crazy crisis where I got a whole new life after cancer.
Right.
But I liked my life so much that I went back. So I'm really glad that I followed my heart and my passions, and I did what I thought was important and good, and not what other people thought was important and good. I'm really glad I did that, because this is the only chance you have at this ride, Yeah. And I thought about it more like a ride, where it's like, what do I want to experience before I die? What do I want to get out of this? What do I want this to be like? And it's up to you. And that idea was super reinforced. I mean, I already thought that, like, when I became a comedian and like people didn't want me to, kind of, and like people who wanted the best for me didn't think it was the best thing for me to do.
Yeah.
I should be a teacher helping kids in schools read and appreciate literature, but I'm not, because I love this and I think this is the right thing for me to do. But it's basically came down to what I thought I should do, So that kind of thing that I think learned that is that it's just you, and you have to deal with your own life as it comes.
Wow. So, and how do you feel now? I feel like you've just been through such a whirlwind the past few years. How do you feel now about the future, where you're headed, and what's on the horizon?
Yeah, I feel good. I don't know. I mean, I feel, like I said, I'm back to like sort of some petty comedy business resentments and depression sometimes.
Yeah.
Trying to quell that. But moving to Europe is really exciting. That's kind of my future, is like living in Europe. The Fringe is in my future. The 2 shows in New York City are in my future in July. They're going to be on July 13th and July 27th. But I'm excited about comedy and life and family and everything. It's going to be great. And it's all a gift. It's like crazy. I got to remember that it's all a gift, but everyone please forgive yourself for not remembering that, because even I can't remember it. And I literally should be dead. In every other timeline, I'm dead. Like in 1992, I'm dead. You know what I mean? Like like 95, maybe dead. If I didn't get the right doctors, I'm dead. If I didn't get the right checkup at the right time, I'm dead. You know what I mean? Like if the surgeon didn't have the right amount of coffee, I'm dead. There's so many versions where I'm dead, and I was ready to die. And I remember thinking, if I get old, it'll be a miracle. Yeah. I would love to get old. Can you imagine being old? I would love to be old. Everyone who's old, I got so jealous. They're walking around. They don't even know that they made it. They are winning. They won.
Wow, that's so true.
They got old.
I think so many people fear growing old.
It's so good. My mom helps me. Yeah, my mom quotes me on her birthday every year. She goes, getting older, but hey, beats the alternative, right, Terrence? The alternative to getting older is dying, So every year that you get older, it is an achievement. It is a medal around your neck. You should be celebrating it. It is a gift. Enjoy it. Let's all get old and die.
Yeah.
In that order. That's my favorite thing is everyone's going to get old and die, and we hope it's the same order. Get old first and then die. You want to get old. It's going to be great to get old. I can't wait to get old. That's my future. Getting old as shit, looking really good until I'm 63.
Yeah.
And enjoying this bountiful life. I mean, I got 30 more years of being a functional adult ahead of me. How great is that? 34. 34, I could do comedy for 30 years plus maybe. You know what I mean? I've only been doing comedy for 10 years. I could be 1/4 of the way through my professional working life, my personal loving life. You know what I mean? Like I'm looking forward to having children, living life, doing this life thing. Yeah, I'm starting to remember that now. It's so good.
That absolutely
so
slaps.
good. It's a new day. Wake up. The rest, let's go. Let's get out. Let's live. You know what I mean?
Did it change your views on like spirituality at all? Like thinking about God and
No, isn't that funny? I mean, like, I guess all those things I just mentioned are spiritually related, but I never personified God. I definitely prayed. People prayed for me. I appreciated it. But for me, that just feels like well wishes.
Yeah.
And whatever, I don't think I have time or energy enough to metaphysically define my universe.
Right.
I don't care. But I do say thank you all the time. I love saying thank you. My grandma, 98 years old. She'll be 99 next month. She's still with it. She prayed for me every day. And I told her, I go, hey, Grandma, I got better. You don't need to pray for me every day anymore. And she goes, no, I still pray for you every day. And I go, why? And she goes, because now I'm saying thank you.
Oh.
I switched the prayer. Now I just say thank you. I still pray for you every day, but I say thank you.
Oh, that makes me want to cry.
Isn't that so perfect?
Oh, my God.
And she literally smiled and said, no, I'm not going to stop praying for you because now I got to say thank you.
Oh, my God. That
so
makes me
every
want to
day,
cry.
a 98-year-old woman she has 27 grandchildren and 22 great-grandchildren. And she prays for me and all of them every single day.
Oh, my fucking God. I could not love that more.
It is so beautiful. So like that stuff, I do not resent religion anymore. I don't think they're liars, whatever. So I guess there's that where I'm like, I don't think they're idiots. I think everyone's spiritually reckoning with this metaphysical reality.
Right.
I don't particularly give a shit. I mean, like I'm loosely Catholic. That's great. Jesus is the man. Jesus is absolutely great. Do not take his name in vain. He had the answers. We still haven't given it a try. We have not tried what Jesus suggested 2,000 years ago. I think we should give it a try.
Let's see. He was on to something.
We are barely trying to do what the Lord told us to do 2,000 years ago. Let's give it a try. So I'm like there, but I don't know dogma or metaphysical heavens, hells. I don't care if we go anywhere. I don't know who we are or where. I don't give a shit about afterlife. If you want to say that, the dead people are still looking down on you, sure. I don't care. You know what I mean? I'm not living for the next life. This is it. Let's make this heaven on earth here. Let's make heaven for each other. Make little pockets of heaven whenever you can. There's nothing coming, I don't think, or care to speculate. So, but I've always kind of been about there. But I think obviously, yeah, cancer made all that stuff a little bit more like, of course, as opposed to like cringy. Of course.
But maybe. Louis C.K. But well, I mean, absolutely incredible, Terrence. I mean, what an absolute journey.
Thank you. And do we have any questions? I'm just kidding.
I mean, I could bring up a few about pants, but it doesn't really feel right.
Is the button fly the right move for the summer?
Give me this, Terry.
How do you talk to chicks?
Give me I know you kind of said it, but give me one more piece of advice for anyone. If you could tell anyone anything about the experience you've had, what would it be? I know you sort of mentioned it already.
You've wrung me absolutely dry.
Say no more.
What? I don't know. That's it.
You answered it.
Love everyone and yourselves. Try to give more than you get.
Yeah.
Get out there and live your life. It's the only one you got. Yeah, I mean, like, just once again, you will die. It's not that you might. Everyone acts like they might die. When you get cancer, people get freaked out like, whoa, is that going to happen to me? Yes, 100%. Everyone you know will get cancer and die. everyone you know will get cancer and die. Everyone you know will get cancer and die, or they'll just die.
Or
You know?
they'll get hit by a fucking train or
Yeah.
some shit. Wow. Unbelievable.
That's
Terrence, I gotta say, brother, no homo. I'm so glad you're alive, and I'm so glad you're still around. And I just can't. I have a lot of gratitude myself. You know what I mean?
Thanks, man. Me too.
What an unbelievable journey you've had. What an unbelievable story. I mean, I feel like that was just. I will never be able to top this podcast, but that's okay.
That was the first time I did it on our pod. The whole thing. I really appreciate having the chance to do that. I'd love to do anyone else's podcast and do the same.
Certainly.
Same thing. Any questions? Anyone have me on? I'll do it.
For the love of God.
I'm putting a special out in the fall. Keep a lookout for. It'll be called One Ball Show or Cancer, or whatever. But I filmed it when I was still bald from cancer at the gutter. You were there. It was so nice.
And you also have a feature film coming out, but we'll talk about that.
A documentary feature film that'll tell this whole story as well in a much better way.
Incredible. And you know what? Go ahead and plug those shows as well while we're at it.
No, I really want people to come. It's a great show. Rachel McCartney's opening for both of them. Rachel McCartney is a killer.
So funny.
Absolute perfect comedian, and she helped me with a lot of my jokes about cancer, and she's been a great friend through all of this and a great partner in writing. And she'll be opening for me at Grove 34 on the 13th of July and at Caveat on the 27th of July. Please come out. I would love to see you. The jokes are super fun. The show is super fun. I'm excited about telling it. And I'd love to see you. Come if you have a question, hit the Instagram or come to a show. It's Hartnett.
Hartnett. Right
No,
here.
Hartnett.
Hartnett right here.
I know, it's bad.
And yeah, I mean, I couldn't vouch for Terry any harder. An absolutely hilarious comedian. One of my favorites in the entire world. Folks.
Thank you.
I mean, what an unbelievable episode. What an unbelievable journey. I'll say it again, Terry. So glad you're still alive. So glad we're still here talking about podcasting, et cetera, et cetera.
And I love it. And I love you. And it's so cool to do this.
And I
with
love you. And I'm so glad we get to do this instead of me talking about how I used to know a guy who had cancer and he didn't make it.
Yeah.
What an unbelievable journey. I'm so glad you made it. Guys, no questions, obviously, this week on account of that. And I just want to say, y'all know the motherfucking drill. We get you in, we get you out. Shout out to all the theys, thems, straights, queers, blacks, Jews, Arabs, everyone but the Zionist. Free Palestine.
Absolutely.
Guys, and that has been this week's episode. Thank you again, Terrence, for coming on. We fucking will never be able to top this one.
Love you. Love you.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye.